This conference will now be recorded.
Excellent. And I think the first order of business is to welcome our new clerk. Am I correct? Lindsay?
Yep. Yeah, we have an appointment for Holly to be the secretary of the Police Service Board. But I'll still be around. You can't get rid of me that easily.
Is that a plus or a minus? I would suggest it's a plus. The one thing I should point out, Holly, is that since you're the secretary, you have all the privileges of a full member of this Police Service Board, with the exception of a vote. So feel free to jump in at any time for anything that you feel is important to the board. Okay, the agenda.
Sorry, Councillor Fur, we just need a mover and seconder to appoint Holly.
Gladly move that.
Is that Alan?
No, that was Mayor Woodbury. I think Mayor Woodbury and Don will just have to go back and forth moving and seconding here.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a mover, Mayor Woodbury, seconder. On Lewis, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
All in favour? Good. Congratulations, Holly. We worked rather well, so we should get along just fine. Confirmation of the agenda. Come on, guys, it shouldn't be too hard.
Yep.
There's only two of you.
It's Don's turn. I'll second.
There's another.
Have you got that, Holly?
Got that.
Yep, just wondering, for Alan, was that you that called me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have one more. Declaration of pecuniary interest. If you haven't any now, you may report at any time during the meeting. Minutes of the last meeting. Move on a second, please.
Alan DeBreen will move it. Alan DeBreen will second.
Who will move as a second is Holly?
I moved.
I heard Alan. Yep, Don will move. Alan can.
Dawn and Alan. Very good. Business arising. Any business arising from those minutes? The detachment commander's report. Deb, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this report period covers from March 1st to April 30th of this year. And starting with page 2, we just have the calls for service for March and April. They were up significantly in 2021. That's not.
Deborah,
yes.
Your audio isn't working too well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Dawn, can you hear everything okay?
Well, I'm listening.
Okay, you can stop me
as long as you stay close to your speaker on your computer, Deb, I think you'll be fine.
Okay. I'll just pull it a little closer. So page 2 of the report is just shows the calls for service in Southgate versus Grey Bruce as a whole. The calls for service were up in 2021, but that's not unusual as the population grows, and there's been some significant population growth in Southgate, so that's not unusual. Below that is our victim services for Bruce, Grey, and Perth year to date with respect to notifications. On page 3 of the report, we've just broken down COVID-related calls for service, 3 in 2022. That was in the last couple of months. False alarms, 24, And 911 hangups, 9. The 911 hangups have decreased significantly since 2019, which is a good sign. Below that is a chart with respect to crime, which includes the violent crime, homicide, sexual assault, robbery, and assault. The assaults were up in 2021. The rest of the categories, there's no big jump or decline from year to year that would cause any concern. The assaults, I'm not really sure why that trend is up slightly. It may have be in relation to COVID, but we'll see how it pans out for 2022. And below that is just a chart for the Grey Bruce attachment as a whole. On page 4 is property-related crime, and that would include fraud investigations, break and enter, auto theft, theft, and mischief. And you can see below that is the Grey Bruce, same categories. And from year to year, there doesn't seem to be a huge jump, although in the break and enter category in 2021, we did see a spike there, but our street crime unit has made some arrests in that area, so we should see some improvement in those numbers. And as you can see on page 5, drug investigations, Southgate, there was a spike in 2021. That was largely due to our street crime unit executing some warrants in the Southgate area. And you should see later on the report, there have been seizures of property, cash, and drug paraphernalia. Below that, you can see a chart of other investigations, which include domestic disputes and missing persons. Domestic disputes, they've been steadily on the rise. And again, that's usually comes along with as the population grows. Missing persons, those investigations, we did see a spike again in 2021. Most of those investigations are solved by locating the person safe and well within 24 to 48 hours. Occasionally, we've had a couple that have lasted a couple of weeks, but both those individuals were found safe and sound. Page 6 of the report is a crime report from our detective, Sergeant Byron Schloss. During this couple of months, they managed 46 benchmark occurrences. They currently have 1 vacancy that they're running a competition for a detective, and they have one member that's on a temporary assignment that's due back, I believe, within a month. Those investigations include 20 sudden death investigations, 2 of which were suspected opiate overdoses, 5 sexual assaults, 7 criminal harassments, 1 child pornography investigation, and 2 frauds, 1 involving Bitcoin. There was a cyber fraud complaint that they oversaw from the front line, and it was an elder scam. So our crime unit is also assisting other major crime units. They help with the investigations, taking statements, providing guidance to uniformed members. 1 detective constable is seconded to the Perth County OPP on a temporary basis until June, and 1 detective constable is currently on assignment part-time to the abduction in Wasaga Beach in Central Region. You may have heard about that on the news. They continue to follow up on leads, prepare for court, investigate several ongoing homicides. The Sprung homicide from Meaford, Solomon from Saugeen First Nation, Jackson attempt murder in North Bruce Peninsula, and Chisholm homicide where a male has been arrested for second-degree murder. On page 7 of the report is from our community street crime unit. Normally it's Detective Sergeant Jamie Blair that prepares this report, but he's on assignment elsewhere. And we have Acting Detective Sergeant Jeff Dudley that's filling in for him. During this last couple of months, they've completed a fentanyl trafficking investigation, and with several different community street crime units, as well as our emergency response team, TRU, warrant entry trained members, intelligence unit, organized crime enforcement bureau. They completed 6 search warrants.
Deborah, you're fading again.
Okay. They our street crime unit, along with a number of specialty units, completed 6 search warrants of 6 residents and 5 vehicles. And they seized various quantities of cocaine, crack cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, oxycodone, with a street value of just under $82,000. They also seized digital scales, drug trafficking paraphernalia, Canadian currency, non-Canadian currency, cell phones, 22 caliber rifles, Ford F-350, and a couple of other vehicles that were used to transport and store drugs. And the total value of that seized property was just over $40,000. And there has been one male from Barrie that's been charged with numerous offenses in relation to that. The street crime unit also attended an address and recovered a stolen vehicle parts rather, valued at about $1,000. And they also located a small quantity of ammunition, stolen property. One person's been charged with several offenses related to possession of stolen property obtained by crime. I know that property crime is a ongoing issue, and the street crime unit is concentrating on laying charges and arresting those responsible for property crimes in the area. That is one of their mandates. They assisted with a firearms investigation. We had a shots fired call, and the street crime unit assisted our crime unit in seizing 10 firearms and various rounds of ammunition, and 1 male has been charged in relation to that investigation. You may have heard of a rush of trailer thefts that's been going on, not only in Grey Bruce but South Bruce area. They assisted South Bruce OPP and arrested 3 individuals in relation to the trailer thefts that were going on, and as well seized methamphetamine, cocaine, ecstasy, drug trafficking paraphernalia, firearms, ammunition, and a stolen trailer. That was a successful joint investigation. On page 8 of the report, we're looking at traffic, e-ticketing. In the last couple of months, we've laid 80 traffic-related offenses and 43 warnings to the public. And just below that, you can see our top 10 charges that we've laid in the last couple of months. Page 9 of the report goes over the motor vehicle collisions in your area, and it seems that it's either driver error or a domestic animal. There's nothing there that really indicates there's a problem with engineering or the design of the roadway that the township would be concerned about. Impaired driving is just below that, and the suspect apprehension pursuits that we've been involved in. On page 10 of the report, we've got our traffic complaints for March and April. 8 for March, 17 for April. Noise complaints, 2 in March, 3 in April, and 0 animal complaints. You can see below there the municipal bylaws that we get calls for. sorry about that. We've had 19 in 2021, and we've had 4 so far in 2022. Patrols, we've got just under 40 hours of ride in Southgate in the last couple of months, and just under 14 hours of foot patrol. Below that, it just shows the hours of paid duties that we've done in Grey Bruce. Page 11 of the report, a report from our media officer, Nick Wilson. Just an outline of the highlights of the media releases that he's done in the last couple of months. And over the next couple of pages, up to page 14, just shows the breakdown of where he spends his time: community services, the school patrols, and teaching in Grey Highlands area, and other community service work that he does. On page 15 of the reports, our court bureau. Below we have the level 1 and 2 criminal record checks. We did 55 in the last couple of months, and the vulnerable sector checks 194. We're hoping in June that that's when OPP in general across the province will go to the centralized criminal record check system that's done completely online. The only participation that detachments will have will be if it's a vulnerable sector check and they need fingerprints done, then they would have to come in, otherwise everything's done online. Our part-time unit, we have 4 part-time officers, 78 summons and subpoenas over the last couple of months, and 38 civilian fingerprints, and that would be for the criminal record checks. Or if somebody's wanting to adopt or something like that. On page 16 of the report is our auxiliary unit. Again, we have several vacancies in our auxiliary unit. The recruiting was put on hold due to COVID. We're hoping to see that back up again soon so we can fill some of those spots, because they do really help out our support our frontline officers. You can see that in March, 165.5 total hours, including 20.5 hours dedicated to the Freedom Trucker Convoy and 6 hours for airport transfers. So they would probably be helping with the administration for our time in the with respect to the Freedom Trucker Convoy, and they do volunteer to drive our officers to the airport when they do get posted up north temporarily. In April, 206 hours, 47.5 hours for patrol time, and 62.5 hours for training and various other activities, including assisting with the Grey Highlands Home Show. And finally, on the last page 17, a couple of noteworthy events from our street crime units, executing search warrants, taking drugs out of our community, which is always a good thing. Just under $11,000 worth of product and paraphernalia that went along with that, as well as seized property, just under $17,000. So anytime, the second item is the community street crime unit always does a parallel investigation when it's a suspected overdose. The thought is that they might be able to trace back to where they purchased the drugs and lay charges in that regard. They've investigated over 26 suspected fentanyl overdose deaths since 2020. And one of those investigations resulted in a search warrant of 6 residents in the 5 vehicles that I mentioned earlier, which ended up in a rather large seizure of drugs, paraphernalia, firearms, vehicles, which is a good thing to put them out of commission and get those drugs off the out of the community. And Mr. Chair, that would be my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any. I'm sorry about the audio. It's a new computer. I had a refresh.
You're muted, Councillor Frew.
Yeah, the audio wasn't that great, Debbie.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just had a computer refresh and it's a brand new computer, so I'll have to have that checked out. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Any questions for the detachment commander? Hearing none. May I have a move and a second to accept the report?
Alan DeBreen will move it.
Who's the seconder? Typical, we have two seconders. Pick one, Holly.
Member Lewis.
Okay, that was a interesting report, but certainly a lot of activity in the Grey Bruce. It must be keeping you very busy.
Yes, Mr. Chair, it's we're anticipating a very busy summer yet to come as well, but we've prepared for that, so we should be in good shape.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. We have something.
Councillor Frew, just talk closer to your mic. We're having a hard time hearing you as well.
Not a good day, is it?
There we go. We can't hear you, Councillor Frew.
You can't hear me and I can't see you guys.
We can now. Just keep your face straight in your computer, and it works fine.
Yeah, okay. Is there any comments on the Solicitor General's report? Hearing none. May I?
Well, it's a little, the information's a little late.
You can say that again. May I have a mover and a second to accept the report?
Alan DeBreen will move it.
There we go. Holly,
I guess it's my turn to second it.
your turn, John. Thank you, sir. Holly's got that. Have you, Holly? Very good. Thank you. New and unfinished business. Members' privilege. I may have a comment on members' privilege. I'm very, very disappointed that our absentee member hasn't shown up again. And this isn't really good enough. We'll have to do something about that. Confirmation of the next meeting. Have you got that, Holly? Can you let me know?
Yep.
Because I can't see it on this report.
19th,
Yep.
July.
So the next is July 19th at 9 a.m.
July 19th. Oh, that's good. I'll be able to see everyone then. Well, I thank you very much for attending, and thank you, Holly, for your attendance. I'm sure you're going to do a good job. If you do it half as well as Lindsay has, we'll be okay. So, mover to adjourn, please.
Alan DeBreen will move to adjourn.
Thank you, Alan DeBreen. Deborah, thank you very much. I hope the audio gets better for the next time. Anyway, we got through it. That's the main thing. So thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.